live here. Thank you all for joining me again. We're here at Hogue Foothill Ranch. This is the lifestyle program. My name is Mona Cabrera and I'm the dietitian of the program here. And I'm happy you all are joining me for our live Friday cooking demonstration. First of all, little reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, please hit the subscription button below. This way you'll get the notifications when we're coming on live and you won't miss anything. But don't worry, if you miss it, you can always go back later and check it when you have a chance. So, thank you all again for joining me. I'm happy to be doing one of my holiday favorites. Actually, November and Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. November because I am a Scorpio, and Thanksgiving is just because it's such a special family tradition, right, for most of us to have this amazing meal together. So I want to bring you today the green bean casserole, one of my favorites, but we have changed it a little bit to healthify the recipe. So you can have lots of it on Thanksgiving. So I remember my mom used to use like the can of mushroom soup and things like that. So we're gonna be making our own sauce today with mushrooms and onions and some Parmesan cheese and Greek yogurt. It's really simple, so I hope you all are tuning in right now. You're probably gonna go shopping this weekend for Thanksgiving, so you definitely wanna put this recipe on your list. So we're gonna first start off with the thing that just takes the longest, is cooking the sliced mushrooms and sliced onions in our wide pan here. So you're gonna want a wide saute pan. And what we're gonna do, I just sliced the mushrooms already. So I have the criminy mushrooms here. They have a little bit more flavor than your white button mushroom. So I got these. So this recipe, I'm just really doing half of the recipe, but the full recipe is posted on this channel right here for you down below in the comments, so you can see the ingredients and the quantity. I'm just gonna do half of it because of space and time today. So I've already sliced up our mushrooms, this little fungus guy, right? We remove the little button, the little stem, and then slice up these buttons, very thin. And then I took half of white onion, sliced it up here. They're already, you can see, very thinly sliced. So cut them real thin, however you like. So now we're gonna heat up our little pan here. And I'm just gonna put a drop of olive oil in the pan. Don't need that much. It's actually a non-stick pan. You really don't need any, or you could use chicken broth for a little bit of liquid. You could use water. What have you. So we're just gonna let that heat up for a minute. A little bit about the green beans. To me, green beans are a lot of work when you buy them fresh, and cutting off the stems and peeling off the little thread. So I just keep it really simple when it comes to green beans. I buy them already cut, washed, ready to go. But if you have a lot of time to buy fresh and do it yourself, by all means do that. For this recipe, I just, again, bought ready to go green beans and just kept it really simple. I like to keep things really simple in the kitchen because we're all so busy, but yet we want to eat healthy and have lots of homemade meals. So if you keep it really simple, keep the stress low, you're more likely to cook at home. So I have my warm saute pan right here, so I'm gonna throw in our mushrooms. So these do take like 10 to 15 minutes to really cook up, and the onions cook up nicely, so give it some time. And then as those are cooking, we will work on the green beans. Okay. Got all our mushrooms in there. Now we'll toss our onions. Just toss those in there. as a pan, we like to use something just with rubber or wood so you don't scratch your pan. So you can just twirl it around a little bit, and we'll let these cook. Just gonna remove this here. Okay, so now about the green bean portion. So I already have mine blanched, but I'm going to talk about the process a little bit. So I bought them already chopped, ready to go. Sorry about the glare. So if you like them smaller, feel free to chop them up smaller, just however you want to do it. Let's see, I hope the heat's working through here. Okay, so about the green beans, you want to just blanch them for about 3 minutes. So you don't want to overcook them. You still want them to have a little bit of crunch. So it really is just blanching them for 3 minutes. And then to stop the cooking process, when you blanch your green beans, you want to put the green beans in some cold icy water. So that will stop the cooking process. So when you cook green beans, you can get a big pot of water, you can put a steam basket in there, and you can cook them like that with a lid on top for 3 minutes. And then you're gonna remove them and, like I said, put them in icy water to stop the cooking process. And this whole recipe, you can do it, you can cook it a day ahead of time. If you are prepping a lot of food, you can blanch this the day before, like on Wednesday, and then have them ready to go on Thursday when you're cooking Thanksgiving. You can also make this sauce ahead of time, and you would just heat up the sauce. When you put it all together, you would heat up the sauce a little bit. So everything can be prepped ahead of time. Okay. So we are going to put it in a 9x11 Pyrex. Let's just wipe that clean again. Okay, so you have your Pyrex, whatever you want to bake in. So you put half of the green beans, because we're going to layer this. Put half of the green beans in your 9x11. So I have my green beans here. So the whole recipe is about 2.5 pounds of green beans. It's gonna fill up this whole thing. But for today's purposes, I didn't do the whole entire batch of green beans. So I put half of what we have. So the idea is to layer. So we're gonna layer our green beans, and then we're making the sauce that we're going to layer on top of this. So if you love mushrooms and onions, you're gonna love this recipe. So these do take a while to cook. I don't have the best stove here, so it might be taking a little longer. So a little bit about the nutrition of mushrooms, since we have a second. Mushrooms are very nutritious. A lot of vegetarians use them because there's a lot of B vitamins in them. They're also high in magnesium, copper, a little bit of protein. So definitely use your mushrooms in your cooking if you've never experimented too much with mushrooms. And there's so many different varieties of mushrooms. The white ones have the least taste. These have a little bit more taste than the white. So we're gonna just let this cook a little bit longer. The water's gonna come out of the mushrooms and onions. And then we're gonna make our sauce in our saute pan here. Okay. So in this recipe, we're using milk today, a 2% milk, but if you are lactose intolerant or don't do dairy, Definitely, you can use your unsweetened almond milk, you can use your soy milk, your milk of choice. So that's awesome. It does have a little bit of yogurt in it, so if you are dairy free, again, just omit the yogurt part. I've made it before without the yogurt. You can also use a dairy free yogurt if you like. So these are just cooking. I'll show you here. So we're gonna cook it a little bit more because the onions are not soft enough yet. Because at the end, when this is all layered, it just goes in the broiler for 3 minutes. So if you walk away, your green beans will burn. So it almost happened to me last night. So definitely don't leave the kitchen while you have this in the oven. It doesn't need a lot of oven time because everything is cooked and ready to go. Okay, so we are going to make our topping mixture right now, and that is just a few ingredients. That's our panko crumbs. So we have a little bit of panko crumbs, and then we have a little bit of Parmesan cheese. I just got some shaved Parmesan cheese ready to go. There you go, some Parmesan cheese, delicious mixture, and that's going to be on top. The spices we are using: a little bit of nutmeg, not too much, a little bit of ground pepper, and a little bit of salt. So I'm going to add that into our onion mixture now. Okay, and then it's like 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. It's very little, so I'm just gonna give it a little bit here. Love that nutmeg. You know it's Thanksgiving, right? When you're using nutmeg. I actually use it all year long, but a little bit of salt, just a pinch really. So we're just gonna mix that. I wish you guys could smell it in here. It is smelling like Thanksgiving morning. Okay. So these do need a little bit more time to cook. Because of my setup, it's not really cooking as quickly as it will when you're at home. But I want to get moving on, so we'll just let that go, and we're going to make our panko mixture now. So we need some panko crumbs. I'm doing 1/4 of a cup for just this today. Okay. So we're just mixing our panko with our Parmesan. And I'm just gonna do 1/8 of a Parmesan. If you like it cheesy, you can by all means use as much cheese as you like. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I know what 1/8 looks like. So that was 1/8 of a cup. Okay. We'll just give it a little mix. So this is what's going to go on top of our green bean mixture here and cook in the oven, the broiler, for a couple minutes and give it that crunchiness on top. So some cheese, a little bit of protein and fat, lots of flavor from our Parmesan. Okay, so these are pretty much cooked. So let's make our sauce. So pay attention here. This is just the most complicated as it's gonna get, and it's not that complicated. Super simple. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we are going to be adding our flour now. So I'm just using white regular flour, 1.5 tablespoons for this small portion here. So I'm just going to add it on and mix it. Just a little bit of white flour to thicken up the sauce. Can you guys see what's going on here with the glare? So I'm just going to sprinkle that. So the flour just is a thickener for this creamy sauce that we're making here. Just thickens it up. So you're just gonna stir it in and make sure no clumps. So that's going. I'm going to add a drop of olive oil. You can also add a drop of maybe a broth if you want to cut back on the oil. So our olive oils are heart-healthy fats, monounsaturated fats. So this is just forming. Now we're going to add the milk so we can make our creamy mixture here. Let's see. Just a cup of milk actually. 1 cup of milk for the amount that I'm making today. So this is going to turn into a creamy gravy. So let's see, we are going to add in the milk, a few splashes at a time. So I just have some 2% milk, but you can use any kind of milk that you like. I'm going to show you my mixture if you can see this. We got our onions and mushrooms and that flour. Now we're going to add in the liquid. Just slowly put a few splashes and then stir it. Mix it in. Can you see that? So it's easy to make homemade sauces. As you can see, it uses a thickener. I'm using flour today, a little bit of liquid. I'm using milk. Other times it can be a broth, a chicken broth, whatever you want to use. But this is like a gravy, so we're using milk. So, and you don't have to be gourmet cook to make this. It's super simple. Easy, easy. I bet the building smells like onions. Okay, so we slowly add this in. So it just takes a couple minutes here. Can you see that? So we're making this gravy. And it's thickening up. So this probably takes about 8 minutes or so. Okay, so we'll just let it thicken. If it's not thick enough, you just add a little bit of flour. If it's too thick, just add a little bit more milk. I'm gonna add a little bit more flour. And just mix that in. Okay. I wish I could be making the whole turkey dinner today here with us. I would be making homemade cranberry sauce because there's no good turkey without a homemade cranberry sauce, right? And then pumpkin pie. That will be another week. We'll be making a healthy pumpkin pie. That's my favorite. So let's see. Okay. So this is almost done here. You can see that. So I think it's pretty good. Got a drop more of milk, but I don't think it really needs it. It's a pretty good thickness. Okay, so what you do at this point is we're gonna layer our Pyrex, and then it's ready to go in the oven. Okay. So we're gonna layer this on top. Oh, I was supposed to only put half. Whoops. Let's take some out. Got ahead of myself a little bit. Okay, so we put half the sauce. Now we put half of the rest of the green beans on top. So it's just a layer. And then we put the rest of our sauce. turn this off. Okay, so now what we're gonna do with this, now we're gonna put the panko and our Parmesan cheese, sprinkle that on top. So you can see how easy this recipe is, right? And it'll be super quick. It'll probably take you like 20 minutes to make this whole thing. Okay, so now that's ready to go in the broiler. So 3 minutes max, so make sure you watch that. So let me show you this to the camera again. So this is going in the oven, broiler for 3 minutes, guys. That's it, super fast. So let me, oh, you know what we forgot? We did forget, oops. I forgot the Greek yogurt. It just takes a tablespoon to make it a little bit creamier. We could add it now. Let's get our tablespoon. Just gonna use this clean spoon. It was supposed to go in the sauce, like I said, to make it creamier, so we'll just throw it in there. Anyways, it's not a big deal. That happens, right? Little mistakes in the kitchen sometimes, but it's not a big deal at all. So this is going in the oven, and I'll be right back. I'm going to pull out the one that's cooking to show you what it looks like, and then we're gonna top it with a little herb. I'll be right back. Really close to the camera so it comes out before you know it in 1 to 3 minutes, and we got our crunchy top there, okay, and melted cheese, all that goodness. So when it comes out of the oven, we are going to just put a little bit of parsley on top, so fresh parsley. You can chop it or you can just break it apart, depending how small you want your parsley. Just a couple teaspoons, not a lot at all. So this is a small dish, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of parsley on top. All that freshness. And you have a crunchy top green bean casserole. We all love cheese, so it has some great Parmesan in there and a delicious sauce that you made with your onions and mushrooms. Leave all the canned goods at the store. We don't need a soup or anything. We're making our own right here. So now it's ready to be served. So right out of the oven, put some parsley on top, and you're ready. So let's cut some out. See what it tastes like. Okay, get some more onions. No onions left behind. Let me show you closer to the camera. Can you see that? Delicious, super delicious. So let's taste this. So the nutmeg's very important. I want to see the flavor of the sauce we made. Now, if I only had some sweet potatoes here and some turkey and gravy, turkey and cranberry, I'd be set. But this is gonna get you guys started. Hopefully you will make it. It's a super easy recipe, just like you saw. The recipe is posted below. So if you have any questions, ask them below and we will get back to you. I will be back next week for a nutrition topic on Tuesday, but we are going to be skipping our cooking demo next week so you guys all can enjoy the holidays And I will see you guys all Tuesday. But until then, have a great weekend. And I hope you guys get to the grocery store and try this out next week with your families. Thanks for joining.